Alrighty, welcome back everyone. So today is something a little different. We're going to be doing a commissioned piece actually. So a customer reached out to me via my website. You may want to check that out if you haven't already. So I've been tasked by Isaac to make a leatherworking knife. He sent me a couple of reference pictures and we emailed back and forth for a bit and finally settled on a design. So between the two reference images, one from DHgate and one from Charters Made, who's actually a knife maker who does primarily leatherwork stuff. So using those reference images, I came up with a couple different drafts, and I'm liking the one that he chose. So I'm really excited to get started. This is actually going to be the first project on the new forge, so I'm excited to see how it performs. I have it right now going through some heat cycles. In the end of the last episode, when I built this thing, I had added just a little bit more refractory cement, so I'm just letting that cure now. So in the meantime, I'm going to prep some material and we can get started. Quick field trip to find a dead cow. Found a dead cow. There we go. Come on. There we go, mower. No one can hurt you now. Alright. Successful field trip. We've secured the dead mower. So I figured I'm making a leatherworking knife. I should probably have some leather to test it on, as well as I've been meaning to make a strop for a while, and you need some leather to do that. So I'm actually really excited about this project. It's letting me kind of branch out. Come on, buddy. Alrighty, so I just took a little break for dinner and I'm going to show you where we're at. You can see it's starting to take the basic shape of what I'm going for. So during the next few heats, I'm going to work on bringing the shoulder further up into the piece. So I'll light the forge again, and if I'm fortunate, I'll be able to finish the forging tonight. If not, I'll do that tomorrow morning. Psych! Thought I was done. Close, but no cigar. The blade just isn't long enough yet. So I just gotta heat it back up and squish here and there and just eke the rest of that length out. It just got difficult figuring out if it would fit in this because obvious reasons. Alrighty, now we're actually ready to grind. The template fits pretty darn good in the forging. I'm gonna strip all the scale off with the angle grinder. Then I'll start flattening it and getting it to the proper shape. I should add that this would have been a lot easier to forge if I had started with the appropriately sized stock. I have a nearly infinite supply of 1084 in the form of that snow plow. So that's what I've been using. And my only other good knife steel is 5160, and that stock just wouldn't have worked out with this shape, so this will do. These are the longest spirals I've ever made. I'm very proud of these, particularly because I hand sharpened this bit, or on the belt sander, but still. I didn't want my knuckles anyway. Alrighty, I got it as far as I want to take it before heat treat. I got a little piece of metal heating up in the forge that I'm going to use to preheat the oil. Oh, and of course, before quenching it, we're going to normalize it. Then we'll quench it, and assuming that goes well, it'll be straight into the oven. Alrighty, so the quench was a big success. It was hard as a rock. This blade's definitely teaching me no matter how good you think you're getting at bevels, you ain't seen nothing yet. Just incredibly awkward to hold it. Usually knives have, you know, a handle on the side that you can grab and run along the grinder, but this is like, it's all below the, yeah, it's a tricky one. As long as I can get through the post-quench grind, I think we'll be good to go. It's starting to come together. I'm getting excited. I'm hungry. I'm gonna go eat. I'll see you in an hour. All right, so I took it out of the oven just to check on it, and the areas where I exposed some of the steel under the oxides when I checked for hardness with the file. In those areas we got that nice brown color coming through, usually described as like a straw color. If you're new to this type of work with knives and heat treating and everything, that color just kind of confirms that it got to the right temperature to temper it. Just bringing the hardness back just a little bit so it's not quite as brittle and just makes it much more tough. So we'll leave all the settings the same, throw it back in for one more cycle, and we'll take it from there. Alrighty, we're back in the garage. I got this all glued up. So now it's time to grind the wood to the profile of the blade. Then I'll draw in some lines and grind the wood to the thickness of what I want the handle to be. And then I'll be set to put the finish on the wood and the blade. Alright, so that took way longer than expected, but we have the handle sanded all the way to 800 grit. Most of that time was spent taking some of the horizontal lines from the belt grinder out of the tang. So now before I stain and oil the handle, I'm going to force a patina on the blade. The way I plan on doing it makes it look pretty cool, but more importantly, other than looking cool, the user actually works with a lot of wet leather, he told me. So this will just add a layer of rust protection. It's basically forcing a layer of surface rust, but it doesn't look orange and gross, and it you know, basically adds a layer of corrosion on top that prevents oxygen from getting to it and causing damaging rust, like structurally damaging rust. The Charter-made knife had a patina. It's kind of got a marbly pattern, and you can achieve that by pouring vinegar in some paper towel and just letting the knife sit in that for like half hour and then rubbing it off, and yeah, so that's the plan.
Ho, 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 ho.
Alright, so I'm gonna let the stain dry overnight. Then in the morning I'll give it a coat of oil and put a nice, very sharp edge on it. Hopefully with a strop with that leather we bought. I can also test cutting with it. Then it'll be ready for its new home. So I'm excited. I will see you all in the morning. Alright, so we're on the home stretch. I'm gonna give it 2 coats of linseed oil, and while each coat's drying, I'm gonna work on flattening my sharpening stone here. I've had it for a while and I haven't re-flattened it since I got it, so then once the oil's dry I'll sharpen it up, and then we'll make a quick strop and strop it, and it'll be a leather knife. I've made Isaac wait long enough. I'm gonna get this shipped out to him as soon as July 4th passes. But as always, thank you all so very much for watching, and thank you, Isaac, for the project. If you're interested in any of the other things I make, you can find them at LeShaneSteel.com. You can also contact me there if you have any other projects in mind. For more fun project videos like this, make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.